Yeah.
You don't come home from nights out.
I say I've been hustling in and out the door for every dollar, no discussing it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back one, welcome back all. My name is Chad Brock. Nobody knows what I'm doing here. But over here, this other guy, the man who lives down by the Tennessee River, the man who paddles a kayak so fast the women go, there goes that man. No, I got that wrong. It's the women go, who is that man? And the children go, there goes that man. Jason
there you go.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kayak Award Show presented by us, because we went fishing and it was a good time.
Absolutely, baby. It was a great weekend to be out on the water up here in Tennessee. Got a little sunshine and some sticky fish on our fingers, man. It was a good time. So hopefully where you guys are, everything's going good. Weather's breaking. We appreciate everybody tuning in to the worldwide biggest boat ramp celebration ever, right? I mean, here's the award show of all award show.
Everybody gets their flowers. TV. Better than TV. It's better than TV. We're gonna get you. You're getting so good at pedaling that little Jackson bite. We're gonna get you one of them Starlinkies, put you up out on the water during Classic Week, and just let you just turbo around and do a little bit of on the water.
Yeah, don't think I haven't. Elon's been sliding in my DMs, and he's got my algorithm cracked because, believe it or not, that Starlink has been on my little smart screen the past 3 nights. It's down to like $39.95 a month, I believe, for the remote option. So it's definitely something I'm looking hard into getting, because the Wi-Fi here and at the PB Lodge is riding a struggle bus, man. So I'm looking for some satellite hookup. So Elon, if you're watching tonight, I know you're a regular subscriber to our channel over at USA Bassin. So hook a brother up, throw some scraps out for Chad too. We'll take it.
we will do a lot for a few Starlinks and a little bit of free Wi-Fi. Let me tell you, a lot. All we can do.
Absolutely, man. We got a full show tonight, Chad. We got Tennessee representing. We got Texas representing. We got all the shows tonight.
So it was a big week out on the trail. Lots going on. This is our first double show, and I can tell you there's going to be a few double shows coming up, and then there's going to be a few triple shows coming up where we've got 3 tournaments going all on at the same weekend. But, Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas, dude, it's been hot. The bite has been absolutely hot. But this weekend signaled something big. And Adam Reiser had talked about it just a little bit. Change was coming. And it came.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it came, and it's change is a constant in our game. You know what I mean? We're chasing living live creatures. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And there's some flip-flopping going on. The bite got tough for some places, got good for some places. And now's the feast or famine time. Those fish are in transition mode, like probably no other time of the year where it's going to be a hit or miss situation, I think.
Yeah. And I tell you what, it did some damage to those USA Bassin division leaderboards. Some division champion.
Yeah. It shook some stuff up.
Shook it up.
It shook some stuff up. It tightened. I think it tightened things in Tennessee a little bit. We've got, like 3 or 4 or 5 anglers that are, now within a point or 2 of the leads. So it's, one of our guests tonight, if he catches them, obviously every tournament he enters in the state of Tennessee. And it's probably for the betterment that, he did miss a tournament. If you're trying to chase that AOI tile, one of our guests tonight, he would be he'd be running away with it, I think, if he would have been in all 3 tournaments so far.
Let's break it down to the top 10 of Lake Nickajack, the hottest lake in the country down there in Tennessee. Let's go ahead and start breaking this one down, Jason.
Yeah,
10th
absolutely.
place.
Home of the new state record. Big time.
Home
Mark
run.
Davis. Yeah, 5 fish limit. And we were talking about that transition time. You can see the 10th to 11th place there. The limit cut off. So we had 30 anglers enter this tournament. So he managed a 5 fish limit, which was good enough to get him in the top 10. Relatively small limit. I can speak well to that in the ninth position there. Caught a boatload of fish, but nothing big. Could not scratch those 20, 23 inches that I found before in the past were not existent for me and for Mark Davis. So, hey, a limit goes a long way, gets us some good valuable points, moves us up on the AOI leaderboard. Sure, sliding up Josh Stewart. I mean, everybody in this area nationally knows Josh. He's been a little quiet lately, but he's got a big one to anchor his bag there. Nice, good kayak fish there. Nice, long and skinny, 20 1/4 inches to, set him up pretty good at 78 3/4 inches and a spot. Coming up from Alabama, Mr. John Turner, very consistent in that 16-inch. Man, if just one more 16-inch fish would have put him up into that sixth position there. But yeah, you'll see a good mix as you go through these fish: a smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass. Lake Nickajack definitely has a solid mix of all of them. Top 6 there, Russ Snyder's. Again, another hammer. You go through these Tennessee tournaments, and you're going to find national anglers to the left and to the right of you every time you launch your kayak. It's to do well out here is awesome. You're beating hammers every time you go out there. He was able to get a very consistent limit, 80 inches to hold down 6. Josh Sharp, a hammer from up around the Knoxville area. I believe he finished second at the Bassmaster Championship a week prior, which was down here on Chickamauga and Nickajack Lakes. So he had a good amount of pre-fishing to come into this tournament. So he still showed up very well with the top 5. Mr. Sam Beck, he's been fishing with us this year. Banger, a big 21-inch fish, 84.5 inches. Now, that thing is thick. You look at that one compared to, and not to take anything away from Josh's fish, but I mean, those are just two different fish. There might only be like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch separating them, but there's probably a 2-3 pound difference in those fish. That one's definitely a pre-spawn female.
That one took a barge ride from Chickamauga on.
Yeah, that one definitely locked through for sure. But yeah, to get a 4th place spot, right behind our reigning and defending USA Bassin Classic champion, who is no stranger to Lake Nickajack or Pantene commercials either. The Chick Magnet, I mean, come on. Mr. Jordan Marshall got a 3rd place finish. We'll let him tell us a little bit about his day. We can let's roll right into it. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
So, man, tell everybody at home, give a little bit about you, where you're from, what kind of kayak you're fishing in, and then, man, how'd you catch them out there on the Nickajack, Mr. Champion?
So I live in Friendsville, Tennessee right now, which is just in sight of Fort Loudon. So last week, as I was, working while most people were practicing for Chick and Nickajack, I got to see all the boats driving by for the Classic, which was kind of cool. We live on the main road here by the lake, so that was pretty cool. This year, and last year, I've started fishing out of an Innovative Sportsman Osprey 1436. For those that don't know, that is an inflatable kayak with 2 side tubes and then the big center chamber in the middle. And I've really just kind of went minimalist anymore. I've got no electronics, that's pretty much it. I've got very little tackle. It's basically just me, the kayak, the NK 300 with gigantic Miller Tech that is unbelievable, consistent, and it moves that inflatable like over 7 miles an hour. So I kind of just scoot around everywhere I want to go, and so I feel like I'm really efficient now, and I get to do what I like doing, and that's power fishing, covering water, and doing fun stuff, fun fishing, and just trying to do it as good as I can. And as far as the tournament goes, I showed up at a boat launch. I don't know if you saw me or not, Jason, but I did pull in right about the time everybody was about to launch, and ease my way right out of the boat ramp because there was a few more people there than I wanted there to be. And I really wasn't sure what my B plan was going to be. I knew I was going to kind of go to a different section of the lake. I was just going to kind of abandon the whole area, and was trying to decide what I was going to do. And there's a small boat ramp on the way to kind of where I was thinking about going. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to this one. There's like 3 or 4 guys I know here. They're good fishermen. I've never used this particular boat ramp. I've used some boat ramps close by that are, Nickajack is a small lake. So, I mean, you can get to 4 different boat ramps with a motor and a kayak from, one particular boat ramp. And I had never used that one. So I just pulled in there, put in, and just kind of looked around and was like, all right, I'm going to go here. And I put in probably right at first cast or so, and motored probably a mile or 2. And by the time I got there, the bass boats were already there. There was a couple other kayakers fishing the tournament there. I just kind of eased my way out in the middle of everything and did some fishing. Wasn't really catching anything. I saw a bass boat catching fish. I saw a guy on the bank catching fish. I saw Ethan Jett catch like a 20-incher. And I was like, man, this is not starting off the way, I planned. So I was like, all right, I'm going to leave and just kind of trap my way out of where I was at, and caught like a 12 and a 13, which, was nice to, have the skunk out of the boat, but that really don't do you a whole lot of good given the caliber of anglers that we were kind of fishing around that day. Because we had USA Bassin, we had Tennessee Bass Nation, we had Tennessee Valley kayak anglers. There was quite a bit of guys fishing Saturday on Nickajack. And it was a big boat tournament. And I was kind of like, all right, I need to get out of this area. I don't feel like this is what's going to happen. And I went and was like, I'm just going to fish somewhere I've never fished before on Nickajack, since I'm in an area that I don't fish a whole lot, right? And I covered water, kept getting cut off by boats, and tried to just get in the big community hole down there where all the old railroad bed is. No secrets there. I'm not giving anything away. It's a community hole. Anybody can see it on a map. And if you've ever been to Nickajack, it's just a big merry-go-round on the whole railroad bed anyway. So I motored down there, bunch of people, no fish. I was tired. I'd called my wife. She was asking how the day was going. At this point, it's like 12 o'clock. And I said, I'm motoring back to my truck, and I'm going to put it on the trailer, and I'm going to go home. And about the time I got back to the boat ramp, I looked over. There's another community hole over there, and there was no one on it. And there's normally like 3 or 4 boats or kayaks or whatever else out there. Always. It does not matter what time of year it is. It's a community hole, and nobody out there. So I was like, well, at this point I had like 3 fish, and there was not a whole lot of people catching them. And I just had 3 small ones. I was like, I'll just get my limit, and then I'll go home. And I rolled out there and fished an area, kind of, got in line. Of course, by the time I got over to that area, there was, more boats over there than there, people pulled in on it. Cause like me, they saw there's nobody there. So I just fished my way up and started fishing my way back, got cut off by another boat. And at that point I was just done. And then I caught a 19 and a 17, like 5 minutes apart. And I was like, okay, well, then I was like, I guess I got to stay now, So I was like, all right, and I ended up culling my entire limit of what I had so far and catching all my fish from like 1:30 on. And then my biggest fish of the day, which was, like 19 and a quarter, not a giant, but, a great, last minute cull. I think I culled 4 inches, and I caught that fish at 3:28, almost, minute and a half left to go, give or take. And was just like, oh my goodness, thank you, Lord. The last minute cull. It's been a while since, normally I'm a catch my fish early in the morning kind of guy, and stress out all day trying to make something happen. And I mean, you guys have seen that in the USA Bassins over the last year and a half or so that I've been fishing them. I'm typically catch them early, figure them out. Once the sun comes up, then you go head hunting and see what happens and watch everybody slowly creep up on you. And that was nice to kind of be on the other end of that, for a change and get a big cull late. So that was really nice. And yeah, it was covered the water, and I caught all my fish on a jackhammer, I think, and I caught one on a Cinco, which I'm ashamed to say, but I did have a spinning rod in the kayak. So yeah, I didn't do it special. I was throwing a jackhammer as far as I could with my little Miami rod and my Shimano reel that I bought used online. I'm not doing anything too fancy. I just cast and reel and cover more water than everybody else.
That's an awesome day, man.
Yeah.
But man, you got bested though. The champion creep up. We had one creep up on you, champ. Mr. Daniel Lyons, no stranger to the USA Bassins Award show. He's back for his second time this season. Let's go ahead and bring him on here, Jason.
Oh, yeah. So Daniel finished, you'll see right there in P2, super solid limit. I mean, 18 and a half, 18 and a quarter, 18 inch, 88 inches in total, called out a couple times. Got some nice bronze backs there. Definitely a super solid day. Again, like we've mentioned it before, if you can top, sticks like Marshall and Stewart and Snyder's, these last name guys that fish our tournaments, you're having a phenomenal day no matter where you finish. And second position, and not a bad place to finish. And he's like you said, he's been up here before. He's no stranger to the leaderboard, the Bubba board. On Tourney X there, he's usually all over the top, and that's a good looking spot right there. That's a pretty fish. But yeah, we'll bring him in here, and he can tell us about his day. Feel free to drop all your waypoints in my messenger box there, Daniel.
I'll be sure to trade that off for you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, appreciate you, dog. But yeah, congratulations on P2, man. In case folks hadn't watched the show in the past, which judging by the attendance records, they haven't. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you fish out of, and where you come from.
Yeah, it's good to be back on with you guys. Appreciate it. So Daniel Lyons, I'm over here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Fish out of a Hobie, PA 14 360, I guess XR, which I had to change the belt drive there on Friday. After about 10 minutes on the water, had a little malfunction, but in those 10 minutes that I was on the water, I did find a nice little spot on the river, and it was kind of up to that question whether it was, go chase big pre-spawn largemouth, down low, or get up there up in the river and try to get a good limit of big smallmouth. And it was kind of a calculated risk, but based on the 10 minutes I had, I made 2 casts on one spot on Friday and caught two almost 20-inch smallmouth. And then as I was trying to go find something else, the belt broke. So that was a return trip to Knoxville, get the belt changed out and get back out on the water. So that was my I guess pre-fishing. And that's all I had to do.
Those malfunctions.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, I'm just happy it broke on and didn't break in the tournament, because in the current it would have been a big issue. Wouldn't have been able to do what I did. But it turned out, to be. I knew kind of going into that and decided to go on the river. A lot of people went up. I saw so many kayaks heading up, so I went downriver and had a little spot, had a little washout, and that kind of an eddy just around it, and all those smallmouth were sitting in kind of that washout right around that eddy. So I was able to kind of position the boat, and I honestly didn't move 70 yards the entire day. I was just waiting on that. I knew early I was going to be able to get a couple bites, and I knew it was going to slow down because of the lack of generation schedule, especially on Saturdays. TVA is notorious for that. And so I just knew if I could get a couple good fish early and then wait out till 1 o'clock when they were going to turn both the generators on, that it was going to pick up then. And, that's exactly what happened. It was second cast, I caught that 18 and a quarter of the day. Then I caught another one that was 13 and change and another smaller, small fish pretty early on. And then it kind of shut down for a little while. And I had to get a little creative. I mean, when you're dealing with current, I was trying to fish a jerk bait. Um, it's hard to go in with the current, getting something that has a lip or a bill on it down to where the fish were. They were sitting in about 10 foot, and because the water was a little dingy, um, you had to get the bait pretty close to them, within about 2 feet, for them to see it and then come up to it. So switched out. I had a Mega Bass Junior 110 +1 on, and it was getting down. It was getting some attention, but it was a lot of work to get it down. So I switched out to this bait that is a copper red baits Jonah. Got a nice little flash on the bottom, and what this bait does, it's a slow sink. So I'd have to make a really long cast, watch it, let it get down to about that 7-8 foot range, and then start jerking it and working it over where the fish were sitting. And once, if made the right cast, everything went right, those fish would come up and take a look at it, and it was getting bites. So that kind of turned things around. And then that was kind of before the current, but once the current started rolling, this is a Castco on a scrounger. That's an Echo. I think it's a 5.2 inch, and you can see it's pretty beat up. It got some tooth marks on it. Probably more from the 22-pound drum that ate it than some of the smallmouth. But yeah, that were I caught two keepers at the end of the day on that scrounger head, and then that big spot was actually sitting underneath a can on one of the channel markers. And I just whipped a cast out by it and saw a fish move out, and on chasing that scrounger, so I took that jerk bait, threw it over there, and that big spot just absolutely slammed that jerk bait. So it was all in all pretty good day. I mean, the one thing that did mess, I think, pretty much everyone up on the river was they had this. I had about 45 minutes of fishing that current, and then this giant yacht came through. I mean, 100-foot yacht throwing 8-foot wakes out. It was full tilt. And when it passed me by, we were rocking and rolling, just see the sky and straight back down. And it just destroyed the water quality. I mean, for the rest of the day, from like 1:45 till lines out at 3:30, it was just mud everywhere from that one boat. It's amazing how much damage those giant boats can do, and sort of mess up a spot. So yeah, but I feel fortunate. I was happy with what I got done out there. Got the bites I needed, but I was still looking for those 20s, but they weren't. It just didn't happen.
So was it less aggressive of a bite as what you'd been seeing down there in Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean that day before, that 10-15 minutes I had, it was one cast with a crankbait. That was a 19 3/4, and another cast with a jig, and that one was another almost just under 20-inch fish. So I knew that they were aggressive, but the current was really ripping on that morning. So I knew it was going to slow down. I was going to be a little bit tougher. Thought that finesse stuff would have worked, but it didn't seem to. I don't know if someone got on that hole and kind of beat them up, on Friday as well. But only made 2 casts, caught those 2 fish, and so yeah, it was definitely a tough bite.
All right, and there's Jason. Jason's back now, but we got to talk about first place. We got to give out the flowers to the first place angler, and that was Mr. Luke Graham. Welcome to the show, Luke. Can you hear us?
I muted myself a while ago. Sorry about that.
You're all right, buddy. So Luke finished first place, 95 1/4. Big fish, 17 3/4. Man, Luke, introduce yourself, even though I already did. Tell people, where you're from, what kind of kayak you're fishing in, and then kind of walk us through your day and on how things went.
Yeah, man. So my name's Luke. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. I fish out of a Hobie PA-14, which I'm so ready to get in something else. So if anybody out there wants to make a better boat, let me know. Hobie's been putting out the same boat for like the last 4 years. Bonafide made a cool boat, but they like just forgot to put a transducer, spot for it. And there's others that make good boats, but like we keep doing the same thing over again. So I'm ready for something else if somebody wants to make it. Anyway, having belt issues as well. So Daniel's not the only one there. But anyway, I fished out of that boat and I went down there Friday at I didn't get there till I think it was like 4:15. And I pulled in, I jumped in the water. I was only out there like an hour and a half. Just fishing like really obvious stuff. So I don't get to fish that much. So when I go out, I go where I know there's going to be fish, even if they're not the easiest fish to catch. That's my thing. I like tail races. I like moving water. I like currents. So typically if there is a tail race, I'm going to go there. And because again, I know there's going to be fish there, resident fish. And so I went up there and the first spot that I hit, I threw it the first fish I saw, caught it. It was a good fish. Went up, made a few more casts in a couple of different places, caught 2 or 3 more good fish. And I was like, it's going to fish really well. And then, so I packed up, left. And then the next morning I went out there and they'd drawn the water way back, which Daniel alluded to. They have a tendency to do that on the weekends. But they drew it way down after running it pretty consistently, I think for weeks. And it was not good. So first spot I went to, no fish there. Went farther up at that point, caught a little spot. And I was like, man, this is not good. And essentially the way that they were releasing the water, there's when you go all the way up, I would say there's 3 or 4 lines that you would want to take in terms of, positioning to cast and to have a decent shot at a bite. And so the best one wasn't even in play because the way that they were moving the current, it was eddying back and going the wrong direction. So I was like, that's out. And then the second and third weren't even really in play because they weren't pushing enough water at all. So even in those zones, there was no water moving there. So it was really very limited. So I kind of tooled around, fished the current for a while, got some bites, caught a ton of drum. I'm trying to think, I don't even remember. I caught one decent one early. I think I caught a 19 or so early in the current. And then I went back down, came back up. There again, a really obvious spot that had probably already been hit 1,000 times at that point. But I was like, if there's going to be a fish there, there's going to be a fish there. So I threw a jig up there. Sure enough, first cast caught it was an 18 something. And then they adjusted the current around whatever time that was, 12:30 or 1. And so that put in play basically the 2 or 3 zones that I was talking about. And so I moved back up there. There were a ton of boats up there. And that's just the deal with tail races in general. You're going to be fighting traffic. Yes, there's always fish up there, but those are probably some of the more pressured fish on the lake. Because not only do you have bass anglers, you've got cat fishermen, you've got people fishing with live baits. So they're seeing everything up there. And I was sandwiched in between a couple of boats, and I slid up there and I caught one off the side and then came around and I caught 2 good ones, 2 over 19. And I was starting to catch fish pretty fast in this boat full of people. And when I say full, 8 people literally pulls on top of where I'm fishing and just sets down and spot locks. I was I don't think they spoke English, so I wasn't about to be guys, what are you doing? So I was okay, well that's that. And then a dad and his kid came in from the left and they were literally like casting over my line at that point. So I was like, okay, I think we're done. And I cruised on down because we were getting close to being out of time, and called it. But it was starting to fish a lot better there once they adjusted the water flow. But yeah, that was essentially it. I caught majority of my fish on a scrounger early. Like I said, I caught one on a jig. I caught one on a minnow earlier in the day, or a few on a minnow earlier in the day, but that wasn't really the deal. So that's it.
Sounds like a heck of a day, man. Sounds like everybody in Tennessee had some sort of adventure throughout the entire tournament process. It's always fun to hear how everybody's day breaks down, and to hear you guys all kind of had something go differently throughout the day is kind of makes it, man. Kind of makes it worthwhile, and knowing that you guys are the guys that battled the adversity and climbed to the top says a lot about you.
Yeah, the lake fish a lot tougher than I think most people were expecting. I think a lot of people in pre-fish were just cracking them. The largemouth were biting. They're eating frogs. They were eating worms. They're on the bluffs. They were in marinas. They were on some of the eelgrass, blown grass lines. But then, when they drop that flow, it really changes everything.
Yeah, I thought smallmouth was actually kind of risky. I mean, I was going to do it anyway, just because I have more fun doing that. But just because, even though Nick had won the tournament a couple weeks or week before, whatever that was, in that Bassmaster Championship, just because you're capped out, like, Ewing's not here. He didn't enter this tournament, but he won the Bass Nation event. He had 100 inches of smallmouth. That's it. Like, that's as good as you can do, and you're capped out. Not only that, but you're probably going to lose a tiebreaker. So, like, if you tie someone in inches and they have largemouth in their limit, they're probably going to have the tiebreaker fish. So I thought that it was most likely going to be won by someone like mid-lake or at least farther down. But it fished pretty tough as compared to people's practice, because I was hearing people were catching lots of good fish.
Mm-hmm. The low end of the lake would just had so many people. I fished Nickajack quite a bit, and I've never seen that many boats, kayaks, everything. I mean, it was the most people fishing I've ever seen on Nickajack, and probably double it. It looked like Chick during the years when there was 110 pounders caught. I mean, there were people everywhere.
Yeah. Well, between that BPT event for MLF, was that last year or the year before? Last year, and then the state record coming out a few weeks ago, it's like it's probably going to be like that for a while, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think some people heard about Jordan Marshall winning a big national title down there too.
That too.
We got to throw that in there like every so often, just to make sure you get these flowers.
Yeah. I think that fish that I won big bass in that event, that might have been the biggest fish I caught last year too. In any event.
Heck
It's
yeah.
a good fish.
I wish I was getting audio from Marshall. I can't hear anything. The audio's not coming through from him, and I know he's spitting gold.
Oh, always. Well, Jason, we got to keep breaking this thing down. We got more to go.
Yeah, we're going to slide south, I think.
We got to slide a little bit south. The great state of Texas, everybody. Scroll on down here to 10th place, Jason. I'll let you start breaking this thing down for us.
All right. Well, hopefully is my audio coming in all right? I'm in and out on my headphones here, but yeah, so obviously, we talked about last week with Adam Reiser, this transition. Texas, phenomenal state to go fishing in. It wouldn't show it on this board here, but 10th place and 2 fish with 30 3/4 inches. Tate Bathgate. I mean, shout out to his parents real quick. That's a pretty awesome name, if I do say so myself. He definitely has a big future in his head there. Yeah. So 2 fish.
Your boy going to grow up to be a bull rider in Texas.
Top 10. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%, dude. He has got the name for sure. 2 fish, hey, good enough to slide into 10th place. Jeff Noble, again, another 2 fish limit, a little bit better quality, 32 inches. Luther Tynes, 2 fish, 2 good quality fish too. It always stinks when you catch a couple bangers and you don't have anything to go with it. That always makes for a frustrating day out there on the water. But apparently, it was a grind out there, and we'll get the inside juice from these anglers here in just a minute. 7th place, no stranger to the Bubba Tourney X leaderboard, Jeremy Baker, 3 fish. Those little 12-inch fish that frustrated a lot of us on tournament day on Nickajack, and that one right there, I did want to comment on. I think there was a crime scene or something that happened there. I don't know.
You're busting toes again.
I mean, hey, when you catch 3 fish and you think you're out of it, you start thinking of OnlyFans and other ways to generate revenue. But hey, you still made a top 10 with that 3 fish limit and some pretty pink toenails. 6th place, Scott Robertson, no relation to Matt Robertson. 3 fish, 48 inches. Not a bad, day out there on the lake. If you got 3 fish, hey, get a couple good ones. But David in the top 5, now that's a solid limit. If he had one more fish, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas come out. That's a beautiful bass. Got some nice tiger markings on the side of it. It's a beaut. And I'll have to double check, Chad, but was that the big bass for that tournament?
Let me scroll on down here and look real quick.
20.5 inches.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, beautiful fish. That's going to net him, a couple $100 in big bass money. Gorgeous fish. One more fish, so could have really helped a brother out and went a long way towards taking that top spot on the Tourney X board for sure. But congrats to David on a top 5
5th place finisher is in the house tonight.
Uh-oh.
Welcome, Gene. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, buddy, man. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what kind of kayak you're fishing in, and kind of break down your day on the water force out there.
Sure. I live outside of Dallas, a little town called Wiley, and do most of my fishing in the East Texas side and North Texas. So I live in a pretty good area for fishing. I fished this tournament in a PA 12. I'm in the middle of transferring everything over to the new Canoe Max. So that'll be what I'll be in next tournament. So the day was, Texas has been pretty rough. The last month, the winds have been terrible. I mean, this is the first tournament we've had winds in a month under 20 mile an hour. So I knew that it was coming out of the south, so I wanted to hit the north bank and get some windblown banks and waters in the mid 60s right off the bat. So went up north, found a windblown little point, caught 2 fish right off the bat, and then I did what everyone's not supposed to do, and I left fish to go find more fish, and made about 3 long runs and wasted about 5 hours of my day, and finally said, yeah, I'm going back to my point, and went back there and not that exact one, but one similar right down from it, and caught 2 more pretty quick. Everything I caught was on a swim jig in about a foot of water. It was buck bass, and I was stuck on 4 fish there till the end, and about 2 minutes left. I caught 4. Jesus caught the last one. 2 minutes left, and ended up with the limit. And I love this lake. This lake's going to be terrible in the future. Nobody, not even try to go out there and fish it. So, but no, it's gonna be a good lake in the future. So, but yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Nice, man.
Heck
Nice.
yeah.
That was about it.
Well,
So do
hey,
you think these fish were? Sorry, Chad, I didn't
No,
mean
go
to
ahead.
interrupt you.
No, good.
You had mentioned buck bass in mid 60s, and now in Texas, where are you guys sitting at as far as the spawn? Are you looking at them, or are they some coming off
There's
this?
kind of south of Dallas. The spawn's going on mid Texas. It's over with in South Texas, I'm sure. North Texas, they're still moving up. You know, Texas is kind of like Mississippi, Tennessee, and that tall. So we have three different regions here. But yeah, it depending on where you go, they're either coming in, staying, or moving out.
Awesome. Well, congrats on figuring it out. And I mean, you figured out enough to scratch together a 5 fish limit and definitely get you in the inside of that top 5 into 4th place. So congratulations there. You just
Thank
did
you.
get, I mean, barely edged out. That one little 12-incher, that 12 and a quarter from Cody Perry, that was a difference maker.
Yeah,
Edged
barely.
out just
And
a little bit.
this is my I had back-to-back 4th places. And so if I can just get 4th place in every tournament for the rest of the year, I'll be happy. So
Yeah, you'd be sitting pretty. I mean, there's definitely worse places to be sitting, that's for sure. And
yes, sir.
shout out to your efforts out there and giving it up to God. I appreciate that. And we'll see you at the next one. Oh, and real quick, how do you pronounce that lake? I don't want to butcher it.
It's Bodart, like the tree.
Bodart.
We've had it wrong the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
We've butchered
like
that
trying-
every which way but Sunday.
That lake only opened up about 3 years ago. So
Right.
it's
I
really
heard a
neat
lot
lake.
about it. How do now on that lake, we'll geek out on the biology real quick. So when they build a new body of water up us, in the north countries, we don't get to see these things, but
Mhm.
do they take like legends from here, there, and everywhere that are like some bigs already, some stalkers that will get in there and grow the population of the lake, or do they kind of just say, oh, okay, here's a bunch of fingerlings and go?
No, Texas does really good job with it. They have what's called the Share Lunker program, and you donate any bass caught over 14 pounds to the Share Lunker, and they take these bass and they breed them, and they're strains of Florida bass, but they when they stock the lakes, they're called Lone Star bass, and all the fish they put in these lakes are the best DNA you can find. So in about 10 years, it's going to be a tough lake. It's going to be awesome.
Heck yeah. Shout out to Texas. All right.
Next up.
We appreciate it. Yeah. So Cody Perry, we were mentioning, another guy, top 3, 5 fish limit, anchored by a 19-incher that you see there. Just did edge out Gene for a 1/4 of an inch. So a little bit goes a long way. And let's see, it's number 2. Oh, we got a guest in the house. We got another one.
We got a
Who we got,
guest.
Chad?
We have Mr. Chance in the house tonight. Chance Van Winkle in the house. He's been around a classic qualifier, fished with us at the classic. I think Chance, you fished with us at the classic once, twice.
No, just once, but it was that was probably like my worst fishing experience. I had a little trouble with the identifier on day 2.
I knew that
Yeah.
name from somewhere. I was like, man, that's a cool name, but where do I know it from?
Jason done made him mad. I remember that. No, that was a bad day. But let's dive into your finish, man. You had a pretty good day yourself out on, however that lake said.
Bodart. Like the tree, Chad.
Like the tree. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get there. I've lost my screen. Jason, go ahead. I'm gonna get the screen.
All right.
back.
So Chance, you definitely caught him. Did you tell us a little bit about your day, how you got started out? You got that 20 and a 1/4. Let's start with that fish. I believe that definitely paved the way for a great day for you.
Yeah. So probably the fourth, fifth time I fished this lake total, and it's been a tough spot every time I've been on it. I know it can fish really good. I've just never hit it when they're really biting. But I fished it with North Texas tournament back in February and cast a check there. So on Friday, I was like, I'm just gonna go check out that same spot. And I got there, and the boat ramp was completely packed on Friday. Got to the spot I kind of wanted to check out, and it was just like half a dozen boats around every bend I'd go on. It was just they were getting slammed. And after that, I think, and I zeroed too. Like on Friday, I was only out there like maybe 4 hours, but it was so bad. I got home. I was like, I don't even want to fish tomorrow. Like this is gonna be a grind. I almost didn't sign up, and then I was like, well, what else am I gonna do? So I went to a part of the lake I'd never been to. Um, and I think it just kind of I had zero expectations to do any good at all. My whole thing was like, well, I just kind of want to be away from the other boats, get out of the wind, and just kind of try some new stuff and just kind of see what happens. So I was just kind of being able to fish free like that with zero pressure. It was it kind of worked out for me. So yeah, but still, I mean, it was tough. I had 6 bites all day. So, and I know that lake can really be good when it's on, but it was definitely not on Saturday.
Yeah,
But
it looks like you got 5 of the right ones. So
and that 20 inch or 20 or whatever it was, I mean, she may have spawned now. I mean, she was so close. Like it was, I've never caught a fatter 20-inch fish, I don't think. Um, but yeah, it made it a much better day pretty quick.
yeah, she's definitely, dilated to several centimeters and ready to go there for sure. I mean, obviously it looks like, your first two on the Tourney X leaderboard there, both females. And that could be a very good size male, but they're just built right. So, your pattern wise, did you, aside from just trying to find some lonely water, did you think you knew where these fish were at as far as spawn, pre-spawn?
I mean, I would just kind of look for coves where I thought they might. I was really hoping to find some spawners because I was in some pretty still water, and if there'd been bedfish, I would have been able to see them, but there weren't any. I
Mhm.
did one little buck bass, like 13 incher on a swim jig. Um, that was actually the first fish I caught. But I was like, I'm not gonna even upload this 13 incher, and I was like, well, maybe I have to after I caught and then the next fish was the I guess I caught a yeah. So and that was like I didn't have another bite until 12:30, I guess, 1 o'clock, and then I noticed the water temp because where I was at it was 58, 59 that morning, and it was probably 1 o'clock before I saw 60-degree water, and
Oh, wow.
put the swim jig down and picked up the chatterbait and started winding and brush. Uh, that whole lake's kind of a jungle, so there's plenty of targets to cast at, but almost too many kind of makes it tough. But yeah, just went to the back of a creek, fishing pretty shallow, warmer water, looking for some pre-spawn areas, and that last couple hours started getting into them a little bit. But I think it was really just a water temperature thing. It just finally warmed up enough that they got a little more comfortable.
Yeah, them Florida strain bass, I'm sure Lone Star bass, now that they've been spawned out a couple times, probably still got that DNA in there that says, we don't like this coldness. You know what I mean? We Florida fish. If it's 50, 55 degrees, they're chilling. But meanwhile, up in the north, they're munching. The cooler it gets, and chance you just did get edged out, not just into second place, but second coolest name on the list behind Tate. Just saying. Shout out to him one more time. But in first place, BT Brian Thomas. Uh, 18s, 17s, 16s, solid limit. I don't want to say ran away with it, but you got almost a 4-inch gap from first to second, so that's impressive.
Welcome to the show, Brian.
All right, thanks, guys. Good to be here.
So, Brian, welcome, and tell us a little bit about you, what kind of kayak you're fishing in, where you're from,
Yeah.
and then just start breaking down your day for us, man.
All right. Well, Brian Thomas, born and raised here in East Texas. Currently live in White House. So all the lakes on this trail are just within reach for me, and it's just awesome. They're awesome East Texas lakes. Fishing out of a PA 14 360. Powered by a Newport NK 300 HD, which it's a solid motor when it's done right, but there can be some improvements for sure. But anyway, yeah, man, this lake boat arc is different from something I've ever fished before. It's very overwhelming. You can get lost real quick. It's Jumanji out there. So about 2.5 hours from me here at the house, and went and checked that out. I think Saturday, the weekend before the tournament. Man, I just went out there, and my goal every time is to try and catch 5 fish, whether it's, practice or something like that, or in a tournament, and then learn from that. So, yeah, I just put in an 897 there, went left into the trees and the stumpy void, and got on my Google Earth app and found some spots that I'm familiar with fishing in about 4 feet of water, because everything looks like it should have a sheer link underneath it. It's just amazing. But then you realize you're in the tops of trees, which are about 20 feet deep. So kind of weasel my way back to the shallows and found a solid limit in practice and got out of there at 80 something inches in practice. Got out of there and left it alone, just kind of explored the lake a little bit. And then come tournament day, that morning, I think our launch was like 6:50. So the sun's already creeping up. Me and Baker just went into the trees. He stopped off at Lines End at 7:15. And then my spot was 40 more minutes away. So I didn't start fishing until closer to 8. Got up in my spot and just went to work. I mean, it was great fishing. I mean, I was in anywhere from, I was catching 4 feet of water to 6 inches. So it was a grind. It was work. I really basically rotated up and down a bank line, pulling myself through the brush and everything else in probably 100, 150 yard stretch. I just kept going back and forth, and that spot kept reloading. So turned out well. Getting closer to lines out, I realized some people had some 20-inch fish in there, and I knew that there had to be 20-inch fish in there somewhere. So started overthinking it, and did what I shouldn't have done and pulled off my spot and went to another spot to check it out just to see. And I think I ended up culling like a 14 and something. Got hung up in the last 5 minutes of the tournament and just snapped it off and went back to the boat ramp. But definitely a different lake. I am used to fishing flooded brush and things like that, but this stuff is so new. And I mean, and my second time on the lake, it was fun to figure it out. It just happened to figure out the right size fish. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything I caught was, I was up in that shallow stuff, and I was skipping an underspin into the butt brush and pulling it out. And as soon as it came out of the shadows and hit the sunlight, they'd hammer it. And then for my bigger fish, one of the things I love to do is flipping a black and blue rage bug up into the butt brush, give it a couple of jiggles, and they just hit it and run off with it. And these fish are feisty. I mean, there's 18-inch fish. I mean, I'm thinking big bass the whole time I'm reeling it in, and it's an 18-inch fish that looks like a football. So really fun time. Great to explore the lake. A lot of great competitors out there. We had a good time. So
Heck yeah, Brian. Them girls
Yeah,
can't resist it. Them big girls can't resist it when you flip up in that brush. You know what I mean? You give it a little jiggle.
It's the way
They
you
ain't
shake.
gonna say no to
Uh-uh.
that.
Well, fellas, we have got ourselves a full house tonight here at the Kayak Award Show. So you guys have had a chance to listen to each other. Everybody's been around the room. We've been from Tennessee to Texas, and congratulations to all of you that had great finishes this weekend. Absolutely amazing to have you guys on the show. But what do you guys take from this? I mean, getting to listen to each other and hear everybody's stories and hearing the fish being in different positions. I mean, in such a vast area. I mean, how does that play into your mindset?
Makes me want to go fish Jumanji. That sounds right up my alley.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, Jordan would be all up in that piece.
We fished.
Might not have the current for Luke.
You can fish anywhere
Yeah,
you
I don't care for stagnant water, so
no.
We fished Wright Patman a couple of years ago, and it was high and flooded, like fishing over the top of roads. Like you couldn't go further back in creeks because of the curve, like the guardrail was where the water level was. And it sounds like something similar to what Brian was doing. I was pulling myself through the brush and fishing the bank behind the tree line. It was fun, but the problem was East Texas, there were thorns everywhere. And I basically threw a buzzbait and thorny bushes all day. And it was stressful, but so much fun.
Hell yeah.
No, and you know, the water temperature in Tennessee being what it is, you know, pre-spawn, and then the water in Texas being what it is pre-spawn is just mind-blowing. Because you would think, Jason, that Texas would be spawn. They would, you know, you kind of got to think of like Florida in a lot of ways, but just with the warmer weather. But to hear that they're the same and as close as what Tennessee is, that's astounding, really.
Yeah.
What was crazy to me on boat was that weekend before I pre-fished, and it was pretty warm. But during the week, we had a huge cold snap here. And so, I mean, it warmed. I think on Saturday of our tournament, we had record highs of like 90 something. It was ridiculous. So in my mind, maybe it reset some of them. I don't know. Like I said, the girls up there were fat near the bank, and you know, there were some little buck bass around there too, but I don't know. There's water was 68 degrees back there. What was that? So it wasn't too bad. Like the little cold front didn't affect it, but definitely nice to see that there's different stages all around. It's just crazy how the weather has a big factor in that.
Absolutely. As we get ready, we've held you guys about an hour, and I know you guys have got other things to do besides sit here and talk to me and Jason. So we'll start with you, Brian, up there in the corner. Just tell everybody where to find you on social media, and thank any sponsorship that you would like to thank.
Oh, buddy. All right. So I'm not huge on social media just yet. I'm working on creating some things. Me and my wife have a shared Facebook. That's about it. And I'm too busy to post. But that's soon to change because I'd like to get a little bit more recognition in the social media world, and I like to post things I do outdoors, fishing, hunting with my kids and whatnot. So it's Shelly and Brian Thomas right now on Facebook, and that's it. I don't have any other stuff right now. Official sponsorships, man, I don't have any. Always open to some, but you know, I think my wife for putting up with my shenanigans and driving 2.5 hours to go sometimes dink. And so, yeah, just out here living the dream, doing the thing, and fish when I can.
Nice. Luke.
Did you say Luke?
Luke.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, nothing in the way of sponsorship. I just appreciate, family for helping out so that I can go fish an occasional event. It's fun. I love doing it. I just don't get to do it a whole lot right now. So I absolutely enjoy the days in the water. Thanks to you guys for hosting the events. I know that takes a lot of work and a lot of time to do that. So appreciate it.
Just easy peasy, man. Gene, how about you, bud?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at PGN Fishing. The sponsors, I don't have any. My biggest sponsor is my job, and they know the only reason I work there is so I could afford to go fishing. So, I could use a suntan lotion sponsor though, if anyone's listening. So, but yeah, that's it. PGN Fishing on Facebook.
Daniel. Daniel. I froze.
Maybe Daniel Lyons, if you can hear me, you're up, buddy.
Pro neighbor, where you at?
Perfect. Yep. So I can hear you. It's like every other person I get audio from. So it's really weird sitting here in silence, trying to wait, trying to tell when it's your turn to talk. But yeah, I think we're going over socials and sponsors. Is that correct? All right. Perfect. Yep. So it's Daniel Lyons Fishing on Instagram and on Facebook. Just me, Daniel Lyons. Sponsors, Dugout Bait and Tackle. They're a huge sponsor for everything that's over here in Tennessee, Georgia, all over the place. I'm on the Hobie fishing team, Copper Red Baits. So those are the hard baits that I'm throwing. They also make some incredible frogs and also a new lipless that's oil filled with a bunch of glitter in it. That's getting a lot of play on Bass Blaster, and also you're seeing some of the pros quietly using that bait too. It comes in a 1/2 ounce and 3/4 ounce. Pretty neat. And then of course that Jonah jerk bait that I used over the weekend, and they make really good frogs as well. And then Little Miami Outfitters, Brandon up there made me a custom jerkbait rod, and it is the best jerkbait rod I've ever picked up. He also has a new glide bait rod that is, I think it'll be available really soon, and it is incredible. It throws anything from a 1/2 ounce up to almost 4 ounces. He really spent a lot of time working to get that perfect bend, the right handle length for fishing out of a kayak. It is absolutely, he makes some of the best rods, and also his rods for shaking a minnow too are as good as you can get anywhere and at a better price point. And then lastly, Lake Haven at Chickamauga is our vacation rental. It's on Chickamauga Lake. Jordan's been there a few times. Luke was staying there with me on Friday night.
The house has
We
good
got
mojo.
plenty of room for 4 or 5 boats and trailers, and nice big backyard, fire pit, grill, everything you need. So those are all mine. And thanks for having me on.
Chance.
No sponsors. Facebook is mostly just for work and reading fishing reports, but the Chance underscore is got post.
World champion time. World champion.
Jordan
National
Marshall.
champion.
There we go. I hear you. I've got Little Miami Outfitters, like Pro Neighbor. Well, Daniel, you know him as Daniel. I know him as Pro Neighbor. He mentioned Brandon's glide bait rod. It's awesome. I've been playing with it a couple years, and it's awesome. I've been throwing it a lot because I've been kind of working on a glide, making my own glide. So I spent a lot of time playing with Brandon's rod, and that's kind of the consistent one in that whole program of seeing what I'm developing. MillerTech lithium batteries. Anybody that knows me knows I love covering water, and anybody that's seen me on the water knows that I put absolutely everything I own through. My fishing stuff probably hates to know when Saturdays are, when time comes, because it's getting used. Their tools, and MillerTech's no different. It's been put through the ringer for for probably 3 or 4 years now, I guess. It's the only battery I've ever owned for any of my motors since we started putting motors on kayaks, and it's been fantastic. And Hobie eyewear, and yeah, I think that's it.
There you guys have it. You guys have met the finishers. You guys have met the anglers, however you want to word it. These guys went out, they did their thing, they took home prize money, they made other dudes cry, and they showed out. So, gentlemen, thank you for being here. I'm going to hide you guys, and Jason and I are going to close out this show. If you guys want to hang around, hang around. If you got somewhere to be, we understand. Give us just a second, and we'll be right with you.
Boom. Heck of a show, Chad. That's a lot of folks, man. I felt like we were on an episode of the Brady Bunch or something. You know what I mean? It's
We
pretty
were.
nice. I was like, what?
We were. We were on an episode of the Brady Bunch there for a minute. There was, man, that was a lot. And, an hour and 5 minutes for two full tournaments. Did we give everybody the time that they deserve? I hope so. I hope we gave everybody a little bit of face time and got them out there. And, that's all we can ask for. It's going to be interesting when we go to these events where we've got 3 in 1 week, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to shake things up on the the podcast side for sure. It should be interesting. But yeah, good time tonight. Hopefully the audio and video came through. I know it got a little shaky on some different folks at some different times. Curious to watch it back. But yeah, definitely a good opportunity for these anglers to, shout out their sponsors, tell a little bit about their story on the water. And the best thing is it'll be here tomorrow and next week and the month and, several years from now. They'll be able to go back and watch these and, share that story with friends and loved ones. That's, like we talk about all the time, one of the highlights of this podcast award show is it's evergreen. It lives on forever. And, it's more than just a little, chat chime at the boat dock. It's
check it out on the Spotify's and the Apple Pods.
Yeah. Good windshield listening time. If you got an hour to drive, listen to old Daniel Lyons and the Jordan Marshalls and the Texas Boys, the Chance Van Winkles. It's a good time to pass the time by learning some fishing.
And bro, we ain't done yet. We ain't even done yet. We are kicking off in Maryland this weekend. So the Maryland boys will be in the house next Monday night. They're headed to that Conowingo Reservoir up there on that Susquehanna River.
Yeah, I've never heard of that Susquehanna. I'm sure Marshall and just about everybody that floats a plastic boat and hunts some smallmouth has heard of that little stretch of waterway for sure. I'm very curious to see how it turns out, baby. It should be really good.
To tell you. Awesome start to the season. Shout out to all you anglers that have been watching these things, listening to these things after the thing ends. Means the world to us. The attendance has meant the world to Jason and I both. I bother Jason all day because I like to look at numbers and I like to look at the different things. But seeing you guys showing up each and every weekend, here out of the gate, and only 3 states have fished. That's what's wild. Only 3 states have fished. Kentucky's only fished once.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface. Indiana's getting ready to come up. I believe you got the tournament, the 4th, your small lakes tournament. Yeah,
small lakes, which will be interesting.
Virginia and New York. I mean,
Champlain's
New York's got
coming.
some bangers. Yeah, I mean, Lake Champlain. So these big national bucket list lakes are on the USA Bassin schedule this year, and it's a great time to be in a plastic boat. Got a lot of opportunities across the country to get out there and fish. Maybe
next year we start the Rover division, where it's just one of these heater tournaments from every series, and you pick up and you go to fish every different division. But at the end of it, the points add up for the Rover division.
Heck yeah. Let us know what you think, folks at home. Let us know. I mean, we're here to grow this thing and, do it for the people. We want to give opportunities for everybody out there to fish.
George appears to be into it down there in the box.
Boy,
He's having a ball. But no,
it's
the
fishing.
Rover
He's
division.
into it, I guarantee it.
But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys here next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about more about fishing, kayak fishing.
Yeah. Maryland,
everybody.
baby.
Maryland, Susquehanna, Conowinga.